question now is, have they done the impossible? Have Netflix finally made a good movie in 2021? And the answer might shock you. The harder they fall. When an outlaw discovers his enemy is being released from prison, he reunites his gang to seek revenge in this western. This latest Netflix movie stars Jonathan Majors, Regina King, LaKeith Stanfield, Idris Elba, and a whole host of familiar faces. And I recently did a trailer reaction for this exact movie where I said I was really looking forward to it, and it quite possibly could be the first good Netflix movie of the year. Well, you know, above average, above meh level movie. Now, before we jump any further into the review, I'd greatly appreciate if you do me one little favor, that's jump below this video, hit that subscribe button, maybe a notification bell as well for new content every single week. The question now is, have they done the impossible? Have Netflix finally made a good movie in 2021? And the answer might shock you, because the answer is yes. The movie's actually pretty damn decent. It's fun, it's a little bit wacky, it's a little bit crazy, there's some great action in it, some great acting in it, some even decent dialogue in it for once for a Netflix movie. It's very strange in a Netflix movie to have that this year. As I already mentioned, a fantastic cast, an interesting premise. It's nothing too special. It's basic Western, good guys versus bad guys, depending on your take of the bad guys. But right from the start, there's some very interesting action straight away within the opening 10-15 minutes. It's almost Tarantino-esque, the opening. The set dressing, the visuals within the movie, they're all pretty damn good. And overall, the sound design on the movie is pretty good. Obviously, we recently watched DUNE, and that's going to take the cake for sound design this year. That's one of the best sound design movies of the last 10-15 years, if not more. So everything's going to be compared to that this year, haven't just come out. But The Harder They Fall had a pretty good sound design. It's a Western, of course, you're going to get some of those cheesy pew-pew sound effects and Wilhelm screams all over the place, but it kind of works within the setting of the movie. What I would say, the downfalls of the movie, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it feels like a long movie when you watch it. The pacing of the movie is quite strange because it starts out at a fantastic pace. There's a lot going on, a lot to keep your attention. We're moving pretty quickly through the story. But then it massively drops off and it's quite slow in the middle. You really have to stick with it in the middle part. Then it ramps up towards the end. The action really picks up. Then we get a very interesting final standoff, which is some fantastic action, although the bad guys do all come out one by one to, like, you know, get killed off one by one. Spoiler alert. And then after the final scene, the pacing massively drops off a cliff again as you wrap up the movie and kind of try to set up for a sequel, I guess. But other than the pacing being a little bit slow and kind of the end battle where the bad guys come out one by one to get picked off one by one, it's kind of stupid. But overall, the movie is quite enjoyable. The acting was pretty good. The story is a little bit basic for what it was, but, you know, does it have to be more than good guys versus bad guys sometimes? No, it doesn't. And it works really well within this movie. You've got some good, unique characters in there, some decent dialogue, some good action. It does slow down in places, but overall, The Harder They Fall shocked me in that it actually is the first Netflix movie that I felt was actually good this year. I know Army of the Dead was fun, it was decent, it wasn't fantastic. Army of Thieves recently was a major letdown. We could go through all the Netflix movies for the year, maybe we will at the end of the year, and just point out how they were all terrible, up till The Harder They Fall. Now at the same time, The Harder They Fall, it's not one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. And when it comes down to a rating out of 10, I've said many times now, to get above an 8, it has to be a spectacular movie. And this movie is not getting above an 8. I also want to point out that the rating system that I have here on the channel is weighted against the other movies I've rated. I was a bit generous to some movies at the beginning. I'd kind of changed some of those ratings. I mentioned that previously. But this movie has to be compared to movies that I've seen recently and that I've rated recently. And it doesn't come anywhere near to DUNE, but it's miles better than Army of Thieves. So when it comes down to a rating, I want to highlight that I did enjoy this movie, but I don't think it's one of the best movies I've seen, yet it is the best Netflix movie I've seen. And for those reasons, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. If you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend giving The Harder They Fall a chance next time you're on Netflix or wherever you watch movies. Well, this is where I throw it over to you guys, because I would love to know your opinions on The Harder They Fall. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know all about it in the comment section below. With all that being said and done, thank you so much for watching.